Okay, so welcome to English for academic and professional purposes discussion. Okay, so for batch 2016. Okay, so for your English for or AYAP, no? So this is the development of communication skills in English for academic and professional purposes. Okay. So before we go to the weekly discussion, let me first introduce the content of this subject. Okay. So you have week 1 to week 10 modules, no? So this will your week 1 to week 10 already started from September 7 up to November 2, no? So we have here an announcement. So if you have want to read the announcement, you have to click it, okay, below your subject title, no? And we have here the list of activities that you have to answer in your uh, module for AYAP. No, we have the written work one, so it started from September 7 up to November 2. And we have the performance task, same schedule, written works 2, performance task 2. No? And you have your first quarterly examination scheduled on November 3 up to November 6. Okay? So we have the virtual class form. No, if you wish to join a virtual class session, okay, so there will be a virtual class meeting before, no, if you have attended this, no. So for week 1, this will be the topic for each week, no. For week 1, distinguishing academic English from general English. And week 2, developing skills in academic reading. So you have your modules there, no? And there is an uploaded video lecture, the presentation, and also the course module, no? If you are using, again, if you are using cell phone, you have to rotate your cell phone into landscape mode, okay? Do not use it on a portrait mode because you will not be able to see this part, no? From the presentation up to going right, no? If you are using portrait mode. So please, if you are using cell phones, try to unlock the portrait mode so you can use it in a landscape mode. Okay? So for week 2, again, developing skills in academic English or academic reading. So there is a uploaded video lecture, also a presentation, and a course module. Okay, so you have to open up each one of those to be able to learn. For week 3, understanding academic text, same. And we have written work 1 for week 3. No, I hope you already answered this because as of now, October 6, we're on week 5 to 6 already. No? So I hope you are done with this activity. And for week 4, the structure of academic text part 1. And week 5, the structures of academic text part 2. No, and for week 5, that is a performance, there is an activity which is the performance task 1, no. I hope also that you are done answering, or if not, you are about to answer this activity already, no. And week 6, the structure of academics part 3, and week 7, the argumentative text, and an activity of written work 2. Week 8, the 6 C's of effective academic and professional communication. And week 9, the correct usage, and an activity performance task 2. And for week 10, the quarterly examination. Okay? So this will be the content of your first quarter in first semester, no? Today, I will be discussing week 1 and week 2 only, no? So because of inavailability of the limited time, we're only about to discuss only 1 to 2 weeks per discussion, no? Anyway, if you are not uploaded or discussed uh, subject per week, no, you have to at least try to help yourself to read everything that is being uploaded in that particular subject. No, at least help yourself to at least learn. No, there is a complete module, the video lecture, the presentation, and course module and everything for you to be able to learn. No, you just have to help yourself, no, to read, watch, and this mode uploaded lectures. Okay, so let's go now to our discussion, the lesson one, distinguishing academic and from general English. So distinguishing academic from general English. Okay, so the emergence of English as a world language has been raising the demand for the mastery of its use in order to function well in a global society. So in fact, English language proficiency is a requirement in academics, no, business and professional jobs around the world. Okay, so when you're applying for a professional job, you have to be able to at least speak very fluently in English, no? Okay, perhaps it's the status as the global lingua franca has resulted to two types of English, no? The general English and the academic English. So a language learner who is proficient with general English may not be necessarily proficient in academic English, no? So as a student, it is important for you to make the distinction between this general English and academic English. So academic English is the language necessary for success in school. Okay, so it is related to a standards based in curriculum, including the content areas of math, science, and social studies and English language arts. So to be proficient in academic English should be the goal why you students come to school, no? And not only to learn how to communicate the language socially, no? Using everyday English does not mean that you are good in academic English, no? To the contrary, you are not yet proficient enough to handle the standards-based curriculum, no? So you lack the academic vocabulary needed to develop the content knowledge in English. So that's why you will need to that you need to succeed in higher learning. So by recognizing these two types of proficiencies, you can help your expedite your academic English. So English for academic purposes. Focus on the language skills where the rules and strategies of academic skills are different from general language skills. No? It is a kind of English teaching that relates to the learner's immediate purposes. Okay? So English for academic purposes is an uh, approach to language education based on a close identification of the specific language features, discourse, practices, and communicative skills of target academic groups, and which recognizes particular subject matter needs and expertise of learners. So we have the features of academic English, no? The general English versus the academic English. So the characteristics for academic English. Academic English does not use hedges, no? Or in assurance. When you say hedges in assurance, no? Or sort of or kind of. Academic English avoid personal pronouns. Like for example, I, you. Okay? So academic English use sophisticated transition words. So Academic English uses academic words. Linguistic functions are more important. Relative Relatively decontextualized and cognitively demanding. Sorry. So again, academic English focus on linguistic functions are more important and relatively decontextualized and cognitively demanding. In academic English, it requires greater mastery of range of linguistic feature. So while informal English na it uses hedges, the sort of the kind of, and it uses personal pronoun, uses simple connectors, but also and uses slang, the stuff, the guys, and relies more on basic discourse structures such as the narrative and a more extensive use of listening and speaking. Okay. So definition of academic language. So language used in academic settings and for academic purposes to help students acquire and use knowledge. No, words and syntactic structures that students are likely to encounter in textbooks and tests, but not in everyday spoken English. Okay? Academic English, the features vary as a function of the discipline, the topic, and mode of communication. So what's the difference, no? So for example, in informal text, we have an example here on the left side of your screen, no? Going away, yes, a few of us are going to a place called Abattoir, France, I think. Okay, while in a formal way, so we can say that Nemo 33 is a recreational diving center in Belgium and home to the world's deepest diving pool. With two flat surfaces at depths of 5 and 10 meters, the facility's main feature is cylindrical pit that descends to a depth of 33 meters. There are also several simulated underwater caves designed by diving experts John Biernertz. The complex serves as a multi-purpose diving instruction, medical research, prototype testing, fitness classes, naval exercises, recreational and film production facility. Okay. So, and we have the lesson 2, building vocabulary through the word category. Now, in building word vocabulary, you have to also at least use this word category. So word category is the grouping of words related to content. So for example, area, theme, unit, or selection. Okay. So we have an example here, words associated with imaginary people and animals. So for example, Capricorn, that is an imaginary people and animal, no? Dragon, Ogre, the Sphinx, Snowman, Martian, Nessie, the Unicorn, Android, the Mermaid, and Phoenix. So these are words associated or group of words or word category of imaginary people and animals. So word category for another example, words associated with geographical features, no? So as you can see in your screens, so those are the words associated with geographical features. Word category helps you at least group identify the meaning, or can be able to at least choose which word or proper word to be used in constructing a sentence, no? Like the synonyms. Next, we have the word category, words related to internet. So for example, for people, the netizen, the lurker, imposter, predator, cleans, avatar. In a scam, we have the farming, the phishing, the spoofing, stranger danger, etc. Okay, so that will be the end of our lecture in week 1, or the content of week 1. Okay, that is only a short discussion. Okay, so now we will proceed to week 2 discussion. Okay, so developing skills in academic reading. So I will be using the presentation. So we have the lesson 1, techniques in academic reading. So reading is significant in learning the language for academic purposes. It is the primary means for learning, whether the goal is to perform better in any academic task or to acquire linguistic abilities. So most jobs demand the ability to read, understand, and evaluate memorandums, letters, forms, and reports. In academic settings, various purposes of reading come into play, but most often, students read for general comprehension and learn more information. Okay? So what you read, you may be expected to read a wide range of text, and that include the course reading pack, slides, no? So why you read? So you may read to at least prepare for lectures and assignments, review information, address in lectures, conduct research for assignments, or revise for exams. So what are the abilities you need? No? So beyond being able to simply understand text, you will need to critique them, no? Evaluate them, compare and contrast them, and apply information you find useful from them. No? So Oliver Wendell Holmes, a famous author, defines reading as a reasoning because it involves ability to grasp the central thought and to draw inferences from single text paragraph. So next. So Smith on 1978 categorized two types of information necessary in reading. No, the first one is visual information taken from the printed page, and the other one is the non-visual information, includes our understanding of the relevant language, our familiarity with the subject matter, our general ability in reading, and our knowledge of the word. So strategies in academic reading. So we have the efficient reading, critical reading, and drawing conclusions. So under efficient reading, there is a skimming, scanning, selecting, studying. While under critical reading, there is a researching and note-taking. And for drawing conclusion, there is a top-down approach and bottom-up approach. So when you say reading skills, it is the ability to recognize words and their meaning. The ability to combine separate words or word meanings into ideas and relate these ideas to one another and to previous knowledge and experience. So it is the reading skills, also the ability to react thoughtfully, critically, or appreciatively to what you read. And the reading skills also is the ability to apply the ideas you gain from reading to your daily study and to your life in general. Okay, so before we proceed, let us first discuss these strategies in academic reading. Okay, so efficient reading. So in academic text, generally conform to a set structure written in a formal, no? academic way and contain specific language from your discipline idea. So most academic writing contains some or all of the following depending on whether they are textbooks, journal articles, in research articles, review articles. So these are the executive summary or the abstract, the table of contents, the introduction or background, the title, the headings and the subheadings, the findings, the tables, diagrams, concluding paragraph, recommendations, and reference lists. So those are what can you find in the journals or in every reading materials, no? So we have the 4S of efficient academic reading, no? So the skimming, the scanning, selecting, and studying. For skimming, uh, it is used when the reader wishes to get a general impression of an article of a book. No, it needs to know the general idea or ideas of a particular passage, or wants to remember the main points in the selection already read just before an exam. So skimming gets updates about the current events from a newspaper and gets informed through business and travel brochure. Now, while scanning, so another fast way, no, by which the reader goes over the printed page. So this skill is looking for specific information or fact without necessarily reading everything in the text. No? Usually, the reader skips over some parts of a text without understanding them. No, next one is selecting. No, selecting is using both scanning and skimming to decide what to read more closely. And then we have studying. Studying is also reading in detail and paying close attention to the main points the reader wants to learn. Then we have the critical reading. When you say critical reading, it is an active reading, no? Also called detailed reading. So the reader reads carefully and makes a variety of comments about the text being read. Critical reading requires concentration to understand the text combined with scanning and skimming. So it is kind of reading that involves the reader to respond to a text, whether in writing, speaking, answering a test, or presenting a report. So next one, we have the drawing conclusions. No, a reading. This is a reading strategy done after reading. No, it involves the use of visual clues, titles, and illustration to understand something indirectly stated in the text. No, it flows from reading information, gathering of facts, evaluating data or details in order to make judgment. So this technique is used in content areas, problem solving, the social interactions, and research. Although in research, this is the final and most important part of the process, drawing conclusions. Okay, let's proceed to lesson 2, the grammar builder. So the simple present tense and the present continuous tense. So the simple present tense uses, no? So number one, facts or general truth, no? So one of the use of the simple present tense. So for example, polar bears hibernate during winter. So Philippines has 7,107 islands, but only 2,000 are inhabited. So that is a fact or general truth. Routines, you can use it is used as a routine, no? Simple present tense. So example, Lindsay sings at theater every Saturday. Another one, Gina doesn't have classes every Wednesday. So that is a routine. Number 3, or the third one, the third use of simple present tense, we have the opinion. For example, my mother doesn't like a cola. Another one, Irish loves to cook. Okay, so that is an opinion. The fourth one, reference to the future. No? Where you're referring to the future. So example, Gina has a work next month. Another example, the Congress has a session tomorrow. Okay, so these are simple present tense. So, and last one, we have number 5, the present events or actions, no, happening right now. So example, here comes the bride. Okay, so that is happening right now. Another one, now I add 3 eggs to the mixture. Okay, so that is the present action. And letter B, the present continuous tense. No? So example, the team leader is suggesting a unique solution. Okay, so suggesting means a continuous action. No? So uses inactivity and in progress. For example, activity in progress. Example, he is attending a meeting now, or he is attending a Zoom class now. Okay, so that is an activity in progress. Another one, extended present. Okay, so I'm studying geology at the University of Nebraska. Okay, so that is a continuous tense. So another use, a temporary situation. For example, Susan is living with her parents in Japan. Okay, so that is a temporary. Next, repetition in a series of similar ongoing actions. No? So when you repeat a series of similar actions. Another example, Henry is kicking the soccer ball around the backyard. Okay, so that is a series of similar or going actions. Another use, expresses future. So example, she's coming tomorrow. And another one, so coming, the word coming here suggests a continuous action. Next, we have a change in progress. So the twins are becoming more and more like her mother. Okay? So becoming. The next one, add s or es to the base form of the verb for simple present tense in singular number. No, no s or es for plural forms in the present tense. The present progressive tense is formed by using is plus the singular, are for the plural, and am for the subject I, plus the verb ing or in ing form. Okay? Next. Okay, so that ends our week 2 discussion. Okay, so for week 3, that is understanding academic text. But because of limited time, I will be discussing this lecture for the next meeting. No, I hope you attend for the next lecture. No, and I also hope that you are done answering the written work 1 and performance task 1 as of now. Okay, so that will be the end of our session for today, and see you on next meeting. Okay, invitation, Zoom invitation for the class will be sent to our group chat. Okay, thank you.